We're starting off with the week of July 6th and the following 7 days. Neptune, Uranus, Venus, the north and the south nodes, and there's more. The energy is pretty condensed, actually. The big picture is this mini-trine, and been talking about it, feels like forever, because these are the slower moving planets. Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Pluto's in a retrograde. Neptune, still going direct, but it does begin its retrograde this week. We'll talk about it. Between these big three slower moving global changes, group energy, systems, governments, technology. 4 degrees is where Uranus is going to move this week. It's going to hit 4 degrees, which is the matching degree with Neptune and Pluto. That happens this week. Going from talking and communications, from business, from trade, from our mind. When Uranus got to 3, the mind was like electrified, thoughts coming really fast. I know my brain, especially trying to do readings and videos, like just information coming really fast, like you can't catch up. You feel like you're really super scattered, like you're picking up on this, and you're trying to grab them all, and you start talking about it, and then another thing comes in, you start talking about that, and it's like, wait a minute, can we go back to number 1? I'd like to hear about that. And so it's just a lot of information at lightning speed at 3 degrees. So it goes to 4 degrees. This is more internal. This is more about emotions and feelings. And this may upset our emotions and our feelings. This can be an energy that takes the emotional realm to maybe a little bit more anxiousness, because it's in Gemini. So it's still moving fast. It's Uranus moving fast. We think nerves and neurons. We think maybe a little bit on the edge, maybe a little bit of anxiousness and anxiety even. We feel like we're plugged in, maybe, right? We still may feel that way, but it goes to I'm feeling this emotionally. And if you ever felt the Uranian energy, you do kind of feel like you need to take something. You feel as though, the anxiety it's higher. It's just higher. The emotions and the sentiment of the public. This is big because of the Neptune at 4 and the Pluto at 4. The number 4 usually is a sort of a stabilizing number. That's the whole representation of that. Is it's supposed to be about my foundation. And we want a good foundation. We want a foundation that is firm, that is secure, that is stable, that doesn't, it's not going to a little shake and we're still going to be okay. We want a good solid foundation. And because all of these are at 4, you point to the top of the mini kite to kind of see, where does that energy express? Well, look where it comes out, right? Yeah, it comes out through Neptune. So Neptune's at the peak of this mini kite at 4 degrees, but Neptune also goes retrograde. And it goes retrograde on the same damn day as Uranus moves to 4 degrees. So this can be a wake up, because that's what Uranus does. Uranus gives shocks and surprises, and that's its job. That's what it's really good at. It says, I don't think you're aware of this, and it's not just a knock at the door. It's one of those big booms at the door, maybe, because that's its job. If you're in a slumber, it says, I got to do, I'm throwing the bucket of water on you. And Pluto also at the 4 degrees. This shows us what's been hidden. This shows us the buried stuff, maybe abuses of power. This for sure in Aquarius talks about the abuses maybe at home, but this is group energy. This is group energy. So what I like about Pluto at this degree, it amplifies the very different, odd, original, unique, unconventional. It amplifies that. So this can be an energy of solutions. It can bring solutions, and usually it's things we've never thought of before because, well, the way we were doing things was the way we were doing things. And now we probably need new solutions or to try out new ways. There's another word I was looking for, but it's not coming to my brain right now. This lends purpose, meaningful purpose to the group. So group energy finding meaningful purpose. So homes and housing would be huge at the, with this kind of energy. But again, your own home and mom and mothering and feminine energy is very big here. So when the Neptune goes retrograde, Neptune is government figures, institutional energy, and of course the war machine because it's in Aries. This highlights all of this. This brings together probably the emotions around war, the emotions around institutional energy, possibly a military leader, but home and maybe soldiers coming home. For individuals who know they're highly empathic, this would be a time where people who have moon signs, right? Our moon sign is our empathic kind of stuff. We can feel things. So in any of the water signs, the moons in water signs are going to be amped up for sure. Okay. So keep all of that in mind because moon energy is super. It's like the moon comes alive this week. Neptune goes retro. So it brings it very internal. It internalizes it. Pluto has already internalized it, but both Neptune and Pluto will be internalizing the emotions. And again, I'm going to revert back to power because that's what Pluto talks about. Pluto says it's a lesson about power. Again, whether it's the data centers or individual power. So freedoms and liberties, absolutely, but also learning, engaging how, where, when, with who, with whom, that you give away your power, that you feel like you're losing power. Your power is literally draining out of you. When does that happen? Is it, everybody has to figure that out for themselves, but it's a lesson about power and how we use that power. When we have our power, what do we do with it? Meaningful purpose for Pluto energy. So the retrograde for Neptune starts on July 7th and it doesn't end until December 12th. It goes from 4 degrees and 25 minutes back to 1 degrees and 36 minutes in Aries. The North Node and Venus on the chart, the North and South Node and Venus. Venus is our money and our values, our self-love, self-care, banking, food. It's the earth, it's beauty, and it is peace. It is peace. And she's in Leo this week. She starts off at 26. By July 8th and 9th, Venus is at a critical degree. She's at 29 degrees of Leo energy. Venus likes to have a good time in Leo. She's more about fun. She's more about parties, entertainment, laughter, whatever, however, wherever. Color. This can be, I want to be entertained or I want to be entertaining. This is Venus in the Leo energy. Lively. Laughter is huge. Okay. Finding ways to have a good time. Feeling like a kid again. My happy place. Okay. Venus might want to incorporate some jokes and not such serious energy. So at 29, though, these are big degrees. These are kind of like those testing degrees. Normally 29 critical degree. Usually decisions have to be made. Usually something's on the line. Billionaire degree energy. This is also the little king energy. Venus on the Regulus degree. But we also have the nodes here. We have the South node in Virgo at 0. So by the 10th, Venus goes to 0 degrees of Virgo energy. Really changes what Venus values. This Venus becomes smart. She becomes more practical. Not that Venus, when I say smart, I should probably rephrase that. It's not that Venus can't be smart in Leo. I mean, Leo is sun energy. And some of the teachings are that sun energy is very intelligent, actually. So Venus is probably more not crafty. What's the word I'm looking for? think big cat out on the pride. Think of the females that are the ones that are the hunters that bring the food to the king, right? So they have to be very, uh, they have to be, in a way, they're organized. They work as a team when they hunt, right? So for Venus, working together for the thrill of the kill, should I word it that way? Again, I'm wording it in terms of the big cats out on the pride hunting for their food. But relate that to your everyday life. Relate that to, what is it that Venus that excites her? What is it that gives her energy during this time? Fun and play. And cats love nothing more than chase. Holy shit. Once that critical degree gets activated, which I'm saying I would just eighth and ninth, serious energy. It goes from boss energy. It goes from someone who's a public figure, right? Public figure, again, billionaire energy. This is likely something we'll be hearing about, the desires, the play. There might be information about the way somebody played in the past, even possibly, because this is about romance, mating, and dating, and children as well, and how that's evolved in our conscience of something that was way more prevalent than I ever thought. I mean, I knew it was a thing. I just didn't know it seemed to be just socially accepted among the elites. And then I might be speaking out of tune here. It's possible because I'm not an elite. I don't know anybody that's in that class. But damn, that degree in the chart for some people, if you have objects in Scorpio and Taurus, and even Aquarius energy for that matter, there can be a lot of friction, right? So the eighth and the ninth, there can be some stress and some tension. It's very fixed energy. And when fixed energy meets fixed energy, it's like this. So, somebody is going to have to realize maybe humor would be a good thing to inject here. I'll take a step back, count to 10. Just know that a couple days after this passes, it'll be a little bit better because Venus will then be in smart Virgo, where Virgo can show the details. Virgo will try to make something better than it was, than she found it. So this is now important because Venus, my values, what I love, what I desire, is in very detail orientated, very practical, very down to earth, very make it make sense energy of I'll step in. I can take care of some of those things. I can come in and help somebody out. I can take care of the laundry. I can go pick up some supplies. I can step in. Virgo is, I often thought Virgo energy, they can do a great job if they are like the kind of like a receptionist, but even more like whether it's a private shopper or a personal assistant, maybe that's the right wording, because they can keep a list, right? And they can mark them off one by one as they get them done. Like, that's great. Virgo loves that shit. Virgo loves to have a schedule, to have it written down, and to be like, great, got that done, got that done, got that done. And they just go boom, 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 boom. This is like one of their superpowers. This is also jobs in the service industry. So however people serve in any capacity, sometimes this is nursing, sometimes these are EMTs, firefighters, policemen, literally service members in whatever capacity, this is that. And so now this is conjunct the South Node, which brings up a superpower energy of being flexible. It brings up this power of service on a big scale, because now this is what we're feeling is very important. Now we're like, but we value this. So healthcare is probably going to be huge here. Mercury is now retrograding in Cancer energy. So feelings and emotions are amped. We're keeping in mind they're 10 degrees apart, but this is where Mercury and my mind and my thoughts are not going to be real good. This is not a good time to make plans where we have to keep track of details. This isn't a good time in the water. Okay. It's not the best way to do this. Okay. Because whatever plans we make at this time, because of the retrograde, likely things are going to have to change. Whatever information we have access to at this time, it's not the whole story. Okay. We're missing information. By the end of the week, the sun and Mercury, and even now at the beginning of the week, they're already at this Kazemi point, which is where Mercury's power of thinking is burnt up by the sun. Okay. It's limited. So you could have conversations and you realize I made a mistake. I said something I shouldn't have said. This usually makes recording videos a real pain in the ass. All right. So with that said, this is a good time to be more in the emotions and be more introspective about how I feel and maybe journal things. It might be a good time for that. But keep in mind that the big picture for the whole week and and the focused on family and emotions and feelings and the purpose. What is the purpose of the group? Try to keep that in mind. Try to stay um try to keep that as a focal point even because you see this cat tapping me. I'm busy right now. I see you. Do you see her with her eyes? Oh, you can't see her. I see you, beautiful. I see you. I mean, I'm literally ending right now. I mean, can you just let me end this? I just gave you Scoobies, literally before I began. So we have to just kind of remember that things that are going on, if you didn't see my out of bounds, Pluto out of bounds video, that explains that we are in a witness stage where we're watching how things are unfolding, but we are also being asked uh, collectively to step forward. So this is why this 4 degrees and this is why this beautiful mini trine in my mind is very significant, and it will be with us next week as well because these don't move fast. All right. So change, but that's only one piece of the equation because once you have the change, you have to figure out what do I want it to change into? Just like I'm going to take off my clothes, but what am I going to change into? You don't just take off your clothes and walk out the door. No, you change out of your clothes and you put on some other clothes. Well, what are we going to put on? Remember, this is a group purpose, a collective effort. Okay.